I was just wondering, Neil, can you please maybe elaborate a little bit on the examples of improving efficiency with ad spend using AI, like data analysis?
Yeah, sure. So when you run campaigns, some campaigns are profitable and some aren't. Some campaigns you're running that aren't profitable, you're doing it because of testing, right? So you can end up having boundaries, and it can notify you on a daily basis which test campaigns aren't profitable and how it was day over day or week over week, and you can see if it's improving, you want to keep it on or cut it off. Or another thing that we're doing right now using AI is, let's say if you're the company IBM, you know how many people will bid on their own brand name for corporations? Not bidding on it can actually lose you traffic as well. So what we do is we're using AI to, in real time, see who's bidding on the name, and it turns it on and off. So that way we're paying for the traffic when we should to just gobble up, make sure our competition doesn't get it, and then we're not paying for it when we shouldn't. And some of those things, like with some of our clients, it's saving them like 60 grand a month, just like on the brand name, which doesn't seem like a lot, but over a year, that's $720,000. You start doing that 10 times, you've saved over $7 million with different types of tactics.
Dude, you gotta throw it, man. That's why we bought it.
Yeah, so I actually go the other way with the AI content.
Which way? I'm going on using it. He's going not using it.
Yeah, I go the way of not using it, and more of a comment. I'm just curious what you guys think. Is we're a management consulting firm, and we do this fractional CMO in a box type of engagements, and I've found that creating more pillar content that's evergreen, like I wrote my book, and people still jump on sales calls that have read the book. Or doing the podcasts, and I post content on LinkedIn that even I still to this day sometimes create. And I found that that helps us separate ourselves in a crowd of other agencies and people that provide services in this space. But there's a downside of that. It's harder to scale that and get to certain volumes. But it also builds us like a loyal following that's willing to pay a premium price for the advice that we sell, where maybe we'd be selling a smaller retainer, but with the type of content we put out, we can charge like six-figure or multi-six-figure engagements, and people are actually willing to pay for that. So I wanted to hear what you guys thought about that.
I'm with you. I would do the same thing, even if it's harder, put more time and energy into it than just cranking out junk content from AI. I haven't seen anyone show me a really good example of AI just creating amazing content at scale that's really useful to humans, that's not regurgitated.
I mean, my response is, it's not an or thing, I think it's an and thing. And the programmatic stuff, it's not like we're creating anything game changing, but it is providing use, like it is helpful, like we do that, right? So that's more, there's more search intent there. I think with the stuff we're doing with marketing school, with the AI enhanced content, it's pretty good, right? It's like we're talking about the latest trends. I've read a couple of them, I'm like, this is pretty good. Like I can't tell that it was written by robot. I would say the pillar stuff, obviously, yeah, I agree. Like maybe that should be in the mix as well. So like if you have really good data to share and things like that, like why would you not share it? So that's where I come from.
All right, so programmatic SEO. So are you, like how many of those pages are you putting out, and like are you using AI to rewrite everything, or just what's a little bit more deeper with the programmatic?
So we're doing 50 pages a day right now, so we don't want to do like 10,000 at once because it's pretty obvious. So 50 pages a day. And then from a rewriting standpoint, we used to have this software called ClickFlow that will see where your traffic's decaying. So we're planning on bringing that back, where you can see traffic decay and you can just you can have it automatically just upgrade or update. That's the plan right now. But what we're doing with those pages too, now that we've created the templates for them, like the Shopify CRO one, we're just randomly adding internal links in there, and then also it's linking to the most relevant blog posts. So we're trying to automate as much as we can there.
How are you getting around duplicate content though on those pages?
So I mean, you've seen Google; they just ignore duplicate content. But in general, it hasn't been an issue for us. The traffic's just been going up. So
if you want to use AI for content, the best way to actually use it that we've seen drive the most traffic is actually updating old pieces of articles. If you ever done a search on Google and noticed that Wikipedia ranks for everything, yes, raise your hand. That should be everyone. Wikipedia literally does rank for everything. Do you want to know why they rank for everything? It's because their content is probably one of the most updated pieces of content on the web. People just keep updating it. Whenever you do a search for something, do you want to read something that's 3 years old, or do you want to read something that was written last week? You want to read something that's written last week, even if it's on an evergreen topic. You want the most up to date. So if you want to use AI, the best strategy to do is go into your Google Search Console, look at your content that's year over year, the ones that have the biggest declines, because Google Search Console will show you that from a search traffic standpoint, and have AI help you rewrite that content, make it more fresh and up to date. If you do that every single month, you'll see a really big increase in your traffic.
Have you seen the Forbes? Did I share that podcast with you where the ex-Forbes employee reveals everything?
No?
I'll share it with you. But Syed and Eric and I were talking about it, and the stuff, they have like SEO on lockdown. And so there's this episode, if you guys search for it on your podcast app, just type in authority hacker Forbes. You should be able to find that podcast episode. And literally he shares all the secrets behind what they do. Because they crank a lot of affiliate revenue and they rank number one for a lot of things, right? So anyway, not much else I can share there. Who else has the ball or the box? Ooh. That's athletic.
I played rugby. So I'm getting into the SEO game now too, thinking about, are you guys doing anything differently to rank for ChatGPT than you would to rank for Google?
No, we found it to work almost identically
same
as
thing.
well. So think of it this way, Bard is their version of ChatGPT, right? Whenever you do a Google search, have you noticed that you get results 1 through 10? That's a dumb question, because of course you realize that. All right, so the result that they put at the top is the one that they think is the best and the most relevant to you, right? The one that they put the next is the second most relevant, in their opinion. I'm not saying they're right or wrong, that's just how algorithms work, and the list goes on and on from there. When ChatGPT and Bard are scraping, it's similar. So like when Bard's giving you a suggestion, they already think they know what was probably the best answer, because their algorithms have already defined that this is the first site, it's the most relevant, people like it the most, the user metrics show on the click-through rate, the bounce rate, the exit time, time on site, etc. They're using a lot of that data for their own rankings for Bard and ChatGPT, what we're seeing. It's not identical, but close enough to it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Ian? Ian Bean?
Alrighty. What are your thoughts on some of the highly commercial intent keywords like app builder, app development, those types of keywords? It seems like Google has prioritized ads. Like if you look on like a MacBook Pro, like the entire fold is just ads before you get to one organic search result. So it seems like Google has taken like more of these commercial intent keywords and just put ads there rather than showing any organic search results.
They're probably going to keep doing that because they're trying to make money.
Yeah.
You know, a lawyer once told me, he's like, Neil, don't worry about shit you can't control. This is one of them.
Well, what kind of lawyer were you talking to?
One who helps me not get sued.
Okay. Johnny, did you have a question?
You're talking a lot about programmatic SEO for lead gen. I think that makes a ton of sense.
What worked for you?
Well, exactly. Okay,
Yeah.
you already know what my business is. Because I think one of the biggest problems in consumer apps is you just buy your traffic to get users, and you're just stuck in this lack of attribution iOS world. We're going through organic
Which they
content,
love, by
TikTok.
the way. They want it that way. It
Yeah,
makes-
well,
makes
that's the one. So you don't think programmatic, any amount of SEO content is really going to help for something like
For your
the intent
game?
is an app download.
What
intent's an app
are you
download.
selling? A
An
game?
app. It's a game. It's a download.
Like
app
a video
download.
game? Like
Yeah, video
Monopoly?
game. Yeah, like Tamagotchi. Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
It's a mobile app.
He
So
doesn't play
Monopoly.
games.
I'm
All
not
right.
selling it to you if that's what you think.
No, he doesn't understand what those games are. So Monopoly.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
Monopoly.
But it's like a video game
You don't
like
know
that.
what a Pokemon is?
No, he,
I know what Pokemon is. I've never played a game. I just
Got
know
it.
Pikachu, and that's it.
Yeah.
So,
the point is driving app download from.
dude,
that
that's
type of
really
content.
simple. Go find all the websites that review games, like top 10 lists, and have them go plug that shit in. You know how many downloads you would get from that? And pay them affiliate commissions or just pay them to be on the page. We've done it in actually your space, and it's worked, and it was way cheaper than paying for ads in the App Store.
Interesting. So, not doing the programmatic SEO though. Go
no,
get
no
paid for
programmatic.
rankings
No
on-
programmatic at all. Yeah.
That's what we would do. We tested it in the game space for a really large gaming company that's publicly traded. We're like, let's just go pay all the people who are writing all these articles. It was like, I think it was around 35% cheaper. 35% of the cost, right? So you're roughly looking at 65% cheaper than buying the traffic from the App Store. And we were able to do it at scale. Like
So this is
crazy
affiliate,
scale.
right? This is affiliate. So
But not all of them would take
Yeah.
affiliate commissions. We were just paying them money, and we were just trying to back end it out.
Andy, I'm curious. So for your affiliate stuff, how much commission are you taking? Can you toss the box over here? If you're willing to share.
I already
didn't
know the
play
answer.
rugby.
He's taking as much as he can.
Yeah. So what's the exact question? What we're getting?
So because we're talking about how he might buy traffic from websites like top 10 lists and maybe pay them an affiliate commission. I'm just wondering because you have an affiliate website.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's
What's your
different
take?
deals. I mean, if you're doing like CPA deals, it'll be like a rev share, agreed upon rev share. Oftentimes, like it depends on what type of product too. If it's a high margin product, you can get a higher percentage of revenue, but somewhere in the realm of 15 to 20% rev share if you're doing CPA deals. But we're moving most of our stuff to CPC, so it's just like, hey, what's the market rate for CPC? What we try to do, because we're a blog and it's all organic. We look at what is the CPC of AdWords. So what would they have to pay to advertise on AdWords for that particular keyword? Or what would they have to pay in Facebook? And then we just like to come in under like 10, 20% below that, so that it's just a no-brainer to test this out. And then when they see the quality of the traffic, they stick with us.
Cool.
It's nerve-wracking. This is for both of you. How many players do you guys have hired outside of the U.S.? Just out of curiosity, personally.
Players or employees?
Employees, team members.
I don't know, a lot. I don't know how many do you
What's
have?
a lot, roughly? Do you know? Is it like,
I don't know the percentage. I have like 750, 800 employees. So I don't know
think
what percentage
it's like
outside the U.S.
You're so fucking cool.
It's like
Such a flex.
Yeah.
I just have like 800 employees.
I don't have a
No,
flex.
it's not that much in compared to like a Walmart or a Microsoft, but it's enough where I stop
Yeah.
counting.
Well, you have to compare relative to this room. But anyway, 15 to 20 for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what do they majorly do?
Design, development, social, like it's like execution work, not like my thinking is strategic should be probably onshore, and then executional work I could probably go offshore more.
So I don't look at different countries as offshore, onshore. I have a bit of a different business model. I look at different countries as can they replicate what I'm doing in the United States or another region and just do it there. Because
Yeah,
every
that's different.
market,
That's
every market
global
has
expansion, yeah.
every market has revenue potential. You just hire for that region, from everything, a president to COO, etc. And you just rinse and repeat.
Agreed. And then lastly, do you monitor them in any way? Are these players monitored, or do you view them, or
What do you mean?
like do you have anybody that
Like time tracking?
Time tracking, yeah, but screen sharing or watching their screens.
I mean, we hire them off of Upwork, so the screen sharing is on for every 10 minutes, but we don't look at it, but it's on, so yeah. I'm not a fan of doing that, by the way, but
I don't think we do that with anyone, but keep in mind I'm hiring expensive people overseas, right? Like some of the people we hire overseas cost hundreds and thousands of US dollars. Wow. So we don't look at like another country as cheaper outsourced labor. Our payroll in a lot of these countries like India is expensive. We're not getting labor for cheap. If you want people who are talented and can drive revenue, sadly, no matter where they are in the world, you got to pay up. Like I interviewed someone in Argentina the other day. He wanted 400,000 USD a year.
yeah. I mean, just to clarify here, though, it's so he's doing global expansion, right? He's hiring people that have been there, done that in that space, so they're worth that absolutely. So hopefully that gives you a little more context.
That's awesome. No, that was great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there somebody
Anybody
else?
want the box?
Jacob,
Jacob.
right there.
Jacob, I'm gonna like a soccer throw, okay?
Oh, ooh. Good dodge.
I guess just kind of general question, written or focused more around written content in kind of a YL regulated space, say health specifically.
Yeah, your money, your life, or health.
Yeah. Right. Heavily regulated. Going against the grain sometimes, right, is not necessarily going to be a good thing. Dealing with, health lines, Medline, bigger companies, that have a lot of authority in the space. Have you guys ever dealt with doing anything, in terms of content, SEO promotion around any of those topics? Maybe the only relatable I could think about would be like finance.
We have in health and finance, and when we tried creating AI written content in health and finance and had a human review it, when the sites were authoritative already and known in their niche, EX, making up like a WebMD, believe it or not, it did well, even if it was written by AI. But the moment the site didn't have as much authority and was starting off, kind of like your company, it didn't do well. So what we found is when it's your money, your life type of content, that's typically finance and health, EX. Google doesn't want to rank a site, or Facebook doesn't want to show a site that tells you invest all your money in this new cryptocurrency called Neil coin and you'll be a trillionaire, right? Like they're worried about that kind of stuff because there's fools that would actually click a button, invest, and lose all their money, and then they complain to the government and politicians, and then Google and Facebook get in trouble. And it really does work like that. So that's why they care about a lot of these things, plus they care about the user experience. But what I'm getting at is, if you have a existing site with a ton of authority, no matter what kind of content you crank out, if it's your money, your life, and you're well known in that space, you do fairly well. But the moment you're not, whether it's AI written or human written, you got to build up the trust and authority, and it just takes time.
You know who you should talk to, Jacob? I don't know how much Syed wants to say, but you should talk to Syed over there. He's doing some interesting stuff with this. So, related to what Neil's saying. So he might want to kill me now, but it's okay. Raise your hand, Syed. That's reluctant. Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Can both of you speak to what you're doing or best practices in your video content, so whether your short form, long form content?
For us, what we're doing is we've tested everything from creating short form video, long form video, video just for YouTube, video just from Snapchat, video just for TikTok, Instagram, you get the point. And we haven't seen much of a difference versus doing that and just creating a mass amount of content that's longer form and then having people slice and dice it and put it on different channels and shortening it up. We found it works almost just as well, gets similar amount of views, cheaper to produce, and it saves a lot more time.
You know what really pisses me off? I was telling Neil this. So we're recording. I don't know if we made this a show actually, but so I see George back there actually. So we were talking. So George's mastermind. I spoke at his mastermind last week, and there's a guy there. His name's Ken. And George, does he own like a couple billion in real estate? A couple $100 million? 1.5. Okay, great. So he knows his shit. When I watch him on YouTube, it's like the content's amazing, but it's like 5,000 views. Like not many views. Like it should be getting way more views. But then you hear other people talking about business or buying businesses and all that, and they just are really good at the YouTube game, right? And they have like 12, 15, 20 million views a month or whatever. But they're really deep on the YouTube game or the content game, but they're not as deep on the business game. And then like a guy like a Ken, 1.5 billion in real estate. Why isn't this getting more views, right? And so it's kind of like mismatched a little bit. So anyway, all I'm getting at is we did a podcast, I think on Sunday actually, and I was just like, Neil, dude, like the game is so stupid. It's like you have to have a really good headline, a really good thumbnail, right? And you have to lead in with a really good hook, tell a really good story, and there's all this theater, and we can't just like talk like right now, right? And so there's a game that you have to play just like there is for every channel. I'm getting my team to play the game now, even though I'm annoyed that I have to play it. But check back on the Marketing School channel in a year, and you'll see us. Hopefully the game's working better. But I mean, look, even if you look at his YouTube channel, he has 1.1, right? 1.1 million subs. And
I don't log into YouTube. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, whatever. But like, point is, this guy's only getting like 5 to 10,000, maybe 15,000 views of video, right? Which is not much relative to the size. And then I look at other people that don't have, subs don't even matter, but it's like, one guy talks about the same stuff in marketing, 40,000, 50,000 views. More entertaining, better hook. And then you have people like us that are kind of winging it. So,
see, over the years, I've learned something. I was always a big advocate for things like SEO, social media marketing, and marketing in general. And I still am an advocate for it. It works, don't get me wrong. But over the years, I started working with larger corporations, and corporations in every field, B2C, B2B, enterprise, consumer, just companies selling toothpaste. And I learned something that was really interesting over the years. No matter how much SEO you do or social media marketing you do, you only grow so much. That's not really where the revenue comes from. The revenue comes from all the shit that no one talks about that's not sexy, like partnerships and distribution deals. Like even for us, I've ranked for almost so many things on YouTube and Google. You know how many big corporations I've gotten from that content? Very little. But on the flip side, just being in business for a long time and doing things like, hey, let me network with Forrester and Gartner who send out industry reports. It's like, oh, cool. Here's an RFP for $20 million. Here's another one for $42 million. Here's another one for $5 million. It's a lot of the shit that no one talks about that's not sexy that actually drives the revenue for a lot of these corporations. For that reason, I've spent less and less time on YouTube marketing, Instagram marketing, SEO, and I'm not saying they're not important. You should do them. But what I found is the other aspects of business have a much bigger impact in the long run than just being like, I'm going to rank number 1 on Google for digital marketing agency.
Can you break down the percentage of your business that comes from referral?
It's a little bit more than 70% now.
Wow. It
So
was
almost-
50% last time we talked about it.
Almost all of our business is coming from referrals. We think it'll get into the 90+ percentile. And when I say referrals, we're bundling in client referrals, employee referrals, and RFPs. And employee referrals is once you start getting, what we found is once you start getting beyond 400 employees, you'll be shocked at how much revenue your employees bring. Oh, you work at this company? Oh, cool, I like working with you. Let me just hire you. What company are you at again? Cool, how do I get started? No joke. I'm like, hire smart people, you make money. This shit's great. And then client referrals, you do good work. Just like even if you sell a physical product, if people love it, they tell other people about it. Like fidget spinners was really popular at one point because everyone used it. Like, this is great. Next person buys it, right? And then RFPs are similar. Oh, you work at this company? You've done really good work for me in the past. How do I include you guys as a potential vendor or buy from you guys or whatnot? And if you look at how most big companies grow, it's usually some of those things. It's not because they rank number 1 on Google. It's not because they use some AI chatbot. It's not because they did a pay-per-click ad a specific way. And don't get me wrong, the AI chatbots, the SEO, the pay-per-click, the social media, it's all worth doing. But that's how you drive additional revenue. You got to figure out the boring, ugly channels that most people aren't talking about because that's where you drive a lot of revenue. So for example, you have a Salesforce marketing company, right? One of the best ways to drive revenue, because you're not competing with Salesforce, you're just a vendor. You go to all the Salesforce sales reps that are selling Salesforce products and you incentivize them in an affiliate program to drive revenue. You know Marketo, that's how they grew. That's how they grew to over $1 billion company. Their revenue came from Salesforce's own sales reps. They partnered with them, gave them cash on the side, and it drove them a shitload of revenue. Again, ugly, not sexy, not a standard strategy, but those are the ways a lot of the big companies drive revenue.
So kind of two-parter. One, Neil, for all the referrals, rooms you were in, et cetera, like how much of that do you attribute to the personal brand you had built kind of at
Almost
the beginning?
zero. No joke.
Really?
No joke. We'll talk to big companies, they'll be like, we don't give a shit about Neil Patel. And you know what they say? Dude, we just did an RFP for a company that does around $9 billion a year in profit. Not revenue, profit. That's a lot of cash. You know what they said? We want to see the LinkedIn profiles for every single person who's going to be potentially working on our account. They don't care who Neil Patel is. You know, a lot of the people who sign up for us have never heard of my name, and I'm like, great.
Yeah, it sounds like the dream. And then second, if you were a smaller agency again, right? Like, and for me in particular, heavy on the branding design side, what would you do to find those places and get in those rooms?
I would do partnerships. So for example, you do design work.
Yeah.
I would find out all the agencies that drive traffic and their customers could need design work. So for example, if you specialize in B2B or enterprise or just SMB or e-commerce, you go find all the agencies that do the work that you don't do, EX driving traffic or just creating organic social ads that are funny like Harmon Brothers. And you'd be like, oh cool, whenever your clients need design, check us out, here we are. Create a partnerships page on their website. They can promote you, you can promote them, and that's a great way to drive revenue.
Ooh.
And again, it doesn't matter if it's B2B or B2C, you can drive revenue through non-marketing channels. You just gotta start thinking outside the box.
Okay, so this is we're 86% referral based, and I've been trying to crack the code on outbound, and it's divergence of focus. So I'm really doubling down on referral and getting more referrals.
Why don't you just incentivize the people who are giving you referrals, and if they give you X more, hit a certain threshold, they get paid a kicker, so that way you get more referrals.
My current 10% ongoing from the net profits as long as the client stays with us. So it's a never ending.
Is it highly profitable?
After about 10 to 15 referrals, they pretty much get a free outsourced professional that's paid for.
No, is it profitable for you?
Yeah.
So if someone gives you $100, you're paying out $10, how much of that is profit?
About $20 after.
So you left with 20%.
Yeah.
So what you should do is scale them up. You get 5%. If you hit X amount of referrals, you can get 7.5, then you can get 10, and then you can get 12.5. Scale them up, incentivize them to keep driving you more and more.
Are there any other creative methods that maybe I wouldn't ask ChatGPT that I wouldn't come up with?
Yeah,
for
here,
referrals?
I'll give you a dopamine hit.
Yes.
So that's what I'm here for. So actually, one of our friends, David Hensel, who's not here, have you heard of clay.com? Okay, so check out clay.com. And basically using that, he cut 60 of his salespeople. And basically what he does with it, this is more, you asked about outbound, since this is more outbound. It will use ChatGPT, it'll come up with, like, you might have a list of prospects or partnerships, people that you're looking to reach out to. They'll make a list of them, and then it'll make an automated kind of, hey, here's 3 bullet points that are unique to each prospect. Like, you can send them out at scale, and there's a couple integrations. But just go check it out, clay.com. I see you nodding your head. Maybe do you use it a lot?
I don't know.
You don't know? Yeah, you're nodding your head. Okay, good. You make me feel good. Great. So go check it out. Yeah, we've been using it, and actually our salespeople have been like, oh, this is amazing. And they feel like they're like AI-enhanced people now, which is good. So.
Are there any places or any strategies in particular for referrals that you already have in your ecosystem, or going to past clients that works, or anything that you give them, kickers, incentives?
How do you recruit them? Are you sending out an email blast saying, hey, we got a referral program or anything like that?
I jump on people on a call one by one and talk to them, just like, hey, what's up?
Have you ever
And
thought
ask
about
for
sending
friends.
an email blast?
Have not.
You should try that out.
Yeah.
Keep doing the one-on-one calls, but post on social media, just do email blasts. Have you ever created the marketing material for people so that way it's easier for them to get referrals and they know what to push in the messaging and the copy and all that?
Brilliant.
So one question was like, how do you retain the smart employees kind of a thing? Everyone wants to start their own agency. So over the years, definitely we are behind like some of the bigger brands. And once they are in a position, they either take the full time. So I make sure no one is on LinkedIn kind of a thing. And we are keep it very low scale kind
All
of
right,
a thing.
few questions. One, you pay them well?
A lot well.
Okay. 2, do you offer equity plans in your organization?
I mean, I didn't knew that I would grow this big.
But you still can. So we do a few things: equity, incentives, and profit sharing. You
Okay.
combine those 2 things, they're part owners, and they stick around much longer.
I have nothing to add.
Sure.
Because you have people in this room that work for you.
No, because you said everything that's. No, it's because everything you said is right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.